Okay, getting the first pick. Oh, get three, Pyro, get three with the
Void Kid putting on a clinic. Whole team's down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, Tranquility community, and welcome to tonight's Thursday Discord feature match. We are in the championship bracket now. This separates the top teams from the teams who, well, they just showed up and decided to queue Brawl and Brawl alone. Speaking of Brawl, tonight we bring you Mark III, the 6th-seeded team, and Domination, the 5th-seeded team here in Discord. Both made fantastic upset runs to get to this point here in the playoffs. We move now to a first-to-4 format. We have two teams here who are upset-minded and hungry to prove that their runs are not flukes. I am Mr. Yeti. Joining me tonight on the color commentary is Apathy. Apathy, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you feeling?
I am excited. I am ecstatic, and I burned my mouth 4 seconds before this cast started on some very hot tea. So right now I am in searing pain, but not as much searing pain as Mark III and Domination has been inflicting on their opponents recently. Mark III coming off of some nice wins here recently, Apathy.
Yeah, they kind of burned the spuds early on, fried them up, speaking of searing, and then took out Mechanize as well to make their way into this championship bracket. But Domination, no slouch with the upsets either, taking out Echo Fleet very early, didn't even have to go down to the lower bracket, but did lose to Quokka Queen, so they didn't get that bye week.
They did not get the bye week, but they are sitting pretty right now, coming off that tough loss against Quokka. The winner here has a match next week, and I know we had previously said during when we were prepping it was Quokka, but it is actually Reminiscence. So the winner here has a date with the odds-on favorite right now in this tournament, Reminiscence. So definitely the first date might be a bit of an ugly one, but they want to work their way there. So we'll see if these two very eligible and hungry bachelors can win their way into Reminiscence's hearts for Thanksgiving week here. I think we are about ready to get this underway here, and it looks like we are. Apathy, what's your feeling going into this? What are you looking for in particular from both these teams?
I want to see. I think they both can play the Brawl. Mark III definitely prefers a lot of Brawl. Domination can play a little bit more stuff, but they do tend to play a lot of Brawl. The main difference is that Mark III plays very, very chaotic and all over the place, and they aren't afraid to take 1-for-1 trades and then have those like really sloppy 3v4, 2v3, or 3v3 fights to control the point. So I'm just looking for Domination to make sure that they don't lose in these awkward 1-for-1 trades, and to just, kind of keep themselves stable, try not to fall into Mark III's pace too much, and just live throughout these fights and clean up from there.
I expect a lot of Brawl tonight. We've seen Mark III get way better this season once they picked up Tarakton, a very well-known member of the community, has been around since Season 3, came in and has had an immediate impact for that roster. Domination has been consistent pretty much all season, playing up against some big opponents all throughout, but they did have a tough loss in Stage 1 to Reckless Sigma, who did not have the best of seasons so far. So it's certainly interesting to see who comes out on top here. Which Domination is going to show up? Is it going to be the Domination we've been seeing in this late season, or is it the Domination that showed up in Stage 1 for Mark III? Is it going to be the Domination we've been seeing in the playoffs, or the winless Domination from Stage 2? That's the question you have to ask as we get underway here in this championship bracket match. We see the Symmetra in use here for Domination as Relentless stays on the Symmetra. We see Bunny and Jean-Pon on the Pharah and Doomfist, which is very atypical for this map.
Yeah, we saw Paradise lost to it recently, and I think the Pharah is fine. It's just a little bit weird paired with a Reinhardt.
Definitely is strange paired with the Reinhardt. Domination does a fantastic job of getting right into the core of Mark 3, and it's a pretty quick controlling win there for Domination.
Yeah, for me, the main part of playing this Pharmacy comp is that it doesn't give the enemy Brawl anything to run onto. So then when you pair it with a Reinhardt and an Ana, suddenly that does give you that target to speed onto and kill, like Domination just executed there. But we're not seeing a comp switch from Mark 3. They're going to stay on this.
They are going to stay on it for now. Mark 3 rolling with that Pharah, but the Pharah is very close to the barrage. So it's certainly got to be an impact here. Immortality field invested by Foxheart. Riptire is big from Gap, finds two, including the main tank Tarakton going down here for Mark 3. And it's just another fight win for Domination.
I think Classy Turtle rocked Jean-Pon out of Barrage there, and then rocked him again following that.
Fantastic.
That's impressive.
Good play there from Classy Turtle. A very, very strong player on that team. Some might say the best player on that team, if I'm quoting the correct screenshot that they like to post occasionally in Discord discussion. We've got to see some changes here from Mark 3. They're trying to break their way through the doorway. They cannot. Doesn't really manage to get through it all as Jean-Pon gets the nano, and Jean-Pon is starting to put the pressure on them. Gap, the Junkrat countering the Pharah as you would expect, has fixed them up with the concussion, or I'm sorry, with the mine, which is equally expected. Tarakton taken low by that Symmetra, who is fully charged as Relentless is relentless with that beam, but Relentless is in the graveyard now as Gap finds 3 on that Junkrat, saying no thank you to Mark 3, taking this point away. Jean-Pon trying to will it back here for Mark 3, finds 2, taking down Gap as well. This is the fight that will not end. Tom Joe barely kept in mech as Jean-Pon pops the barrage, finds Classy Turtle with a little revenge in mind perhaps, but Relentless finishes off Jean-Pon, and here comes Bunny on the Tracer. Bunny looking for any kill he can find at this moment in time. He cannot find any yet as the Immortality field from Foxheart holds up here. Gap with the concussion mine takes down Bunny, and Classy Turtle finishes it off with a Gravitic Flux and a dominant first point here for Domination.
You know, I think you're the only player, you know, with your caliber that can really expect a Junkrat to be killing Pharahs.
Well,
not something you normally see, but I guess if it's you, it's just expected, huh?
I mean, Junkrat is a counter to Pharah, and anybody who would tell you otherwise doesn't understand that I'm currently just outside the DPS All-Star voting. Hashtag Yeti for All-Star. So, you know, I'm just saying. Some say it's weird for somebody to campaign for All-Stars. To them, I say vote for Yeti for All-Stars.
It's weird when anybody other than you does it, I think.
You're not wrong on that one. I am a very, very unique, very, very special snowflake here, Apathy. But anyways, let's get this map back underway. Domination looking to close out Li Zhang here, and Relentless finds Bunny right away. The Doomfist not doing what they need to do. Mark 3 is struggling right now to find any momentum up against Domination.
Yeah, they were just a second late on that TP. I'm not sure, maybe they didn't take the scooter pathing, which I'm now told is the preferred pathing onto this point, or if they just didn't, you know, they waited a millisecond before TPing, which can happen. But that's unfortunate, because this is not a point that you really want to lose that first capture on. It can be very, very tough to flip this point into a Symmetra Brawl comp.
Especially after struggling so much to take that first point here. Now they're coming in to this one here, already at a significant disadvantage. We see the amplification matrix from McRice as all of Mark 3 is very low, and Tarakton cannot break around the corner there before he is taken down. Tom Joe, however, does find Staymare, but that's about it. And Classy Turtle and Relentless are cleaning house. Classy Turtle with the big 3K as the team kill horn sounds, and another fantastic fight for Domination.
Yeah, they're just so low before they even walk up to that choke. Just the pressure that the Echo and the Baptiste are putting out together, really chunking them down before they can really make any space. I'd like to see them, try to utilize their speed a little bit more. Take some alternate pathing and also just not hesitating in these chokes, getting right in their faces with ults.
We do get the switch from John Pon onto the Soldier 76. We see the Potato Lord sitting on that sound barrier, perhaps thinking it might be an opportunity to use it and start getting in there and start mixing it up a little bit. But it looks like Mark III is now switching off to a little bit more of a poking composition. As I say that, of course, here comes the sound barrier they invest. And we see the big Symmetra wall coming in from Relentless. Vic Rice takes Gap immediately out of the copy, but it doesn't matter. Domination, again, continues to be dominant. Classy Turtle on the Diva has been fantastic throughout the night as Tom Joe finds himself falling off of Lijiang Towers. It's just, again, Domination they're showing absolutely no signs of let up here.
Yeah, none of this damage is really getting through or lasting just between Foxard with the excellent heals that he's putting out and Classy Turtle. Defense so interesting, and your Baptiste is the one to touch. That's not what you want to see.
Baptiste is forced to touch here. We see the charge in deep from Tarakton, but Tarakton pays the price for the aggression. Tom Joe brought very low and taken down as well, and my goodness, Domination, it's in the name, Apathy. That was absolutely controlling for Domination.
Yeah, I mean, not to discredit them, but like to be fair, it can be very hard to wrest away first control from these Symmetra comps. So it's, I mean, good on them for winning first fight, obviously, but it's not the end of the world for Mark III, who does typically go to map 5 and have some slow starts. But all in all, very well played from Domination.
Yep, Domination taking the first point here, winning Lijiang Tower 2-0 here on our map 1. Again, we are a 1st to 4 in this our championship bracket, and a date with Reminiscence hangs in the balance between these two teams. Mark III, it wasn't their map, and we talk so often about how mental can just absolutely change a team's fortunes in these, especially in these 1st to 4 formats. We saw it last night with Decapitators against Battalion. Decapitators go up 3-0. They C9 the 4th map, and it just seemed like it was a different match after that. I mean, you have to wonder, can Mark III mentally you have to just erase that map now, correct?
Yeah, I mean, they seem like a team who is pretty good at that. They have had a lot of their closer and better matches go to a map 5, or just, going long, and they seem like they don't really change that much. They just keep playing hard, and eventually it tires out the other team and it works, but they're not really like they don't start strong and start fast. They like to kind of wear the opponents down, get in their groove, and that's when things start to seem working for them. Yeah. So it could be an advantage for them, especially in a 7-map series. So Domination would definitely just be looking to close this out as quick as they can.
We did see Mark III taking on 2 other championship bracket teams in stage 1 that they won both in 5-map sets. As you said, this is a team who has won in high pressure situations, and right now the pressure just does not get any higher than this for Mark III. Going down 1-0, it can make a big difference going down 2-0 compared to 1-1. Suddenly it looks like you have to win 4 versus the other team having to win 2. I mean, there's just, at a certain point, math just takes over there. But you got to give it to Domination. They looked incredible, and I think Classy Turtle was definitely standing out so far.
Yeah, Classy Turtle, the ringer that they have isn't bad. It's worth mentioning that their usual player doesn't seem to be here on that main support, I believe.
No, Classy Turtle's the off tank. The main support, that's Omni, is the ringer today.
Yes, that's what I meant. Sorry, they're okay. In addition to Classy Turtle, that their ringer has been filling in surprisingly well, and just Relentless. Some would say that Symmetra is a pretty easy and low skill character, but I mean, they're just like there is a thing for Moira diff. Symmetra diff is a real thing. Relentless has been pumping out some pretty good consistent damage with that Symmetra, so a lot of people looking good tonight on Domination.
Domination right now firmly in control of this match here. We've seen them have done very well throughout this season. They did pull off a nice 3-1 in stage 1 against Seals Team Spuds, and again we saw them take down Echo Fleet here a couple weeks ago. That was a 3-0, so not only a win but a dominant win over Echo Fleet. So we've seen this team absolutely live up to its name so far. The map pick went to Mark III, and they chose Volskaya. Now, we've seen with these 2 CP maps, it kind of goes either way on what kind of map type people are picking, or what kind of map people pick. A lot of people tend to specialize in one map here. What could set this apart here for Mark III's strength? What could really benefit them here if they're playing to their strengths?
One option would be to play very tight to the choke and try to immediately get on to the enemy supports if you're expecting them to run double bubble or dive, which is what Domination is running and which is standard on Volskaya attacks. The other thing is just playing very, very slow on point and just trying to live no matter what. It doesn't really feel like a strategy where you win. It kind of feels like a strategy where you're just burning time and forcing ults. But I mean, that is a way to win 2 CP, you know, forcing them to cap with 0 time left.
Losing the Baptiste immediately is Mark III. The Potato Lord dropped right away by Relentless. Trakton, though, returns the favor, finds Relentless as well, but losing that big healing from your Baptiste, that is a painful thing right now. McRice going to be having to hit those procs right now on that Inspire, but A Phenomenon finds Classy Turtle, and it's suddenly Mark III aggressing onto Domination here. Finally, really the first fight we have seen Mark III actually take away from Domination.
Interacting 2 for 2 with those fire strikes, finishing people off. I'm not sure who got them low, but some pretty accurate fire strikes, taking out 2 that fight. So we'll see what they can do. They look like they want to push up now, which I think is a good thing. Try to take this fight pretty early and in enemy territory.
It does make it harder for this double bubble comp to succeed. The Potato Lord, though, dropped very low. Immortality Field is invested as John Pond gets onto the back line here. He has the Pulse Bomb, does not connect with the Pulse Bomb, but he's able to get back with his team here as A Phenomenon is pushing out onto that Tracer, who Gap is working the way into the back line of Mark III. A big biotic grenade there from Foxart, as well as ultimate abilities are being invested by both teams, but the Trakton Fire Strike is through, taking down Foxart right after the nano boost goes down. Gap finds A Phenomenon here as ultimates are continuing to be traded, and the ultimates favor Domination as they finish off the team kill here and will take point A.
Yeah, that's the one thing about this matchup, is that I do feel strongly that the ultimates on the side of the double bubble comp are a bit better. I mean, Rally is a good ultimate, and Shatter is good into this dive comp that doesn't really have ways to block it other than a really well-timed bubble. But other than that, things like the Graviton Surge, the Bob, the Nano, and even the Primal just get so much more value than I feel like Brawl comps are able to get with their ultimates. They need to be winning these fights neutrally before the ults are built.
And unfortunately, another huge biotic grenade. Foxart hits another fantastic one. Drop hitting 3 with that. Trakton McRice down. Here comes the self-destruct from Tom Joe to try to salvage it as Vex is going ham on that primal raging Winston. And that's about another team kill there for Domination. Mark III is going to have to get on and get in there quickly. Trakton dropped after the huge dynamite from Relentless. And right now, Domination is Relentless, and that's going to be about it. The stagger's coming in, but it's just far too much Domination here, as they're going to be finishing this one off with a heck of a time bank.
Yeah, should be close to, there we go, 350, which is a very, very good time bank. Mark III was trying to play up and in their faces. The issue with that was, like, Mark III didn't really take the bait, so to speak, and Mark III was really only trying to burn down that Winston. I think when you want to play Brawl like that, you need to just kind of ignore the tanks and speed onto those supports and try to get in like the Brig's face with your Rhinehammer, for example, because that's where, you know, the true power of these dive compositions lie, is just that on a Brig safely from the backline, pumping out so much heals and charging their ultimates so fast if all you do is focus the monkey. So I like the way that they played. I think they just could have changed who their primary target was.
I would definitely agree with you on that one here. We're going to see a different look from Domination on defense, but a very common defensive strategy here. The double shield with the two heavy, medium to long range heroes. You like this strategy a lot on this because you can spread out across both those high grounds. Do you like what you're about to see here, especially knowing what Mark III likes to do?
I do like the D.Va a little bit more, and when you're expecting Brawl, this is really good, but Mark III currently showing Dive, which is good for them, right? And I do think that while this double shield composition is good, it is pretty weak to something like a damage boosted Echo. Can usually like tear this comp apart, and then you'd have duplicate for second point, and you can very easily snowball. They're not going to go with that for now, but I think Dive should have an advantage, especially if the Ana can splash her nades over these walls, or off of these walls over the shields, excuse me. You could get a really good engage off of that.
We have seen Ana play fantastic in the hands of Foxhard, so the Potato Lord hoping to turn it around here for Mark III. We see John Pond underneath the side of Domination, just looking for any sort of splash damage, any sort of opportunity to get in, build up that pulse bomb. A Phenomenon looking for a hack opportunity. They saw it coming, however. They find A Phenomenon and do manage to get them to use that translocator to get out of there. It's going to be a big one as Classy Turtle is fishing around. They're trying to get these DPS out of their swords. If you
But look
Mark,
how close the Nano is.
Yeah, and Mark III is just, it is going to be big, but Mark III is still just playing it slow, and that's what you want to do. You want to build up that Nano.
Mm-hmm. Build up the Nano, jump in with Monkey, followed up with a nade. They could have gone with that arrest and missed their shield, but...
Oh no, A Phenomenon dropped so quickly by Gap. That Storm Arrow finds the head, and both DPS are down. And we see Mark III now, looks like they're going to turtle up here into that high ground. Is this something Domination should capitalize on right now, or should they just play it slow?
It's risky to push, especially when you can expect that nano boost. What they can do is just try to keep staggering these DPS as they try to get through this choke, but that's tough. That's a tough order considering it's a Tracer and a Sombra. They just need to make sure that the Mark III DPS just need to make sure that they're playing patient, waiting for their tanks to go in before they really do anything.
It does appear we are getting patience. I'm sure, Mark, when you thought Mark III and Domination, both teams that love to brawl, you weren't expecting this, but here we go. Nano Boost in onto Terractin on the Monkey. The Winston is in and doing a lot of damage. Omni taken very low as well. Omni is down. Foxard low. Foxard down. And that is going to be all she wrote. The patience of Mark III pays off, and point A goes to them here on Volskaya.
Yeah, unfortunately it was maybe a fight too late, at least from what it could have been, but still very good. They didn't need to really use anything else other than just Nano and Pulse Bomb, and they're already 50% to another Nano. So there is good snowball potential to try to tie up this time bank. I don't think they'll quite be able to do it, but they could get pretty close to it.
They certainly could. Here we go now. Mark III setting up for their attack onto this point. Domination settling down right point central here as the DPS for Mark III fan out around Domination. Amplification Matrix in Foxart's hands. That's really the only thing they hand with this, or they have on hand with this full brawl comp switch for Domination. But here we go. The dive is coming in from Terractin, who is sitting on the Primal Rage, and a huge biotic grenade from the Potato Lord as Terractin is going crazy on the Winston right now. The Primal Rage is in. We see the hack on the Classy Turtle on the D.Va. The D.Va is neutralized for now. So many people so very low on Domination, just not quite finished off, but they are playing slow, playing back, and Terractin pays the price for his aggression, but the EMP is in, but it doesn't connect with the D.Va Bomb. That's two wasted ults there for Mark III.
Yeah, it might have came out just a little bit too early. The only real target there was a D.Va who was already being demeched and a Reaper who was in Wraith and did not get hacked.
And that's
a little bit of unfortunate timing there.
So unfortunate for Mark III. They had a great situation, good ultimates, and unfortunately just with maybe slightly mistimed ultimates at the very end there. Domination just able to hold with 3 minutes, but look at the ult advantage right now if you're sitting on Mark III's shoes as they surrender some of that ult advantage just now, switching back to the Reinhardt. But still, it's a great spot right now for Domination.
Yeah, they've got this Death Blossom, which is going to be crucial. They're close to another bomb as well, which can stall it out.
Wow, the Potato Lord found Relentless. That is a big mistake there from Relentless getting caught out as the rally is invested by McRice on the Brigida. That's 20 yards of pain and 20 yards of healing coming out from McRice right now. Death Blossom is in from Gap, being neutralized by Tom Joe. Tom Joe, the currently all-star frontrunner right now in the tank category, coming up big there with that eat. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough, and Domination has more tools in the shed than Mark III on this one, and is going to clean house with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, the Death Blossom was neutralized, but you had to use quite a lot to do so. I mean, you used Bash, your full DM, and Anti-Nade to shut down one ultimate, which, you know, may have been necessary, but unfortunately Domination just has a little bit more in the bank after that. And they didn't really get too much value out of that nano boost. I think they just need to play slow and wait for another one, because so far just nanoing the monkey has been the way that they've been winning these fights.
Right now, Terractin is sitting on that Primal Rage. They might try to build up that EMP here in fight number 1, try to win off that while they try to work on building up another nano boost. A Phenomenon looking to get in and try to get some damage onto Tom Joe, or I'm sorry, pardon me, on the Classy Turtle, but is unable to finish building that EMP on that attempt here. We see really good scouting right now from Classy Turtle, keeping A Phenomenon really being that effective.
Yeah, and Gap is also helping out. I mean, the monkey's not going in, so he doesn't have anything better to do. Still a good EMP, though.
Very, very good EMP from A Phenomenon, and Tom Joe finds 2 with the self-destruct. Vex, however, with a big shatter, going to try to contest it here, but he's hacked out, and that is going to do it for Domination there. And Mark III manages to clutch up, and they get it with a minute on the clock, and we go to extra Overwatch.
Yeah, it looked like they got it with just over a minute, so, or 5 seconds under, so that's a pretty negligible amount to give to the enemy team, so you'd be happy with that. I think they just need to replicate that success that they had on first point and try to snowball those ultimates a little bit better.
If you're Mark III, do you change something up here, or do you stick with that Sombra Tracer dive into this double shield comp?
If you're expecting the double shield or even the brawl again, you could change the Sombra to something like a damage boosted Echo, would be one option. Genji is a pretty bold option. I honestly don't hate it, although that hero has not been a mainstay in the meta for a long time. He's actually not that bad against
Look what
double
Domination's
shield.
pulling out here.
Yeah, is that real? Are they walking out of spawn with it?
They are walking out of spawn with it. Domination is they're thinking about it right now. We see Relentless is putting in the big debate, it looks like. Nope, Soldier 76 it is. But even with that, you still have the Torbjorn for Gap. And Torbjorn can be such an effective DPS here at shutting down, again, Sombra. And we saw Sombra getting shut down before they had a Torbjorn. So it's a big pick from Domination here. Probably a direct counter to A Phenomenon.
Yeah, and even Soldier isn't bad against her and Tracer. They've sacrificed a little bit of their longer range burst for just things that are able to catch things out and chip them down slowly. Looks like they're going to try to, slowly overtake the resources of Mark III rather than bursting them down all at once, especially with this pocketed Soldier.
This is a bold situation right now for Mark III. The Genji pick is, like you said, it's super questionable because they're not going to get any blade value here. They're just hoping to get some picks from John Pond here on the Genji. But if you look, they're already keeping them completely at bay right now as Terractin goes in on the Winston. John Pond brought very low. The Potato Lord trying to throw in as much healing as they can, but it's being shielded off by Vex on the Orisa. Terractin is very low, getting pocketed still by the Potato Lord. And John Pond, actually, that's just the Torbjorn turret, but John Pond does draw first blood, I suppose, as the tick begins to tick up. And they do manage to get a tick here, and John Pond finds Classy Turtle. So the Genji pick so far has yielded a little bit of success, but the Mercy does bring it back up. We see the rock onto Terractin, stunning out the primal raging Terractin, but Terractin trying to find a kill onto the Mercy. He has not yet, and he still has not. There he goes, finds Omni as well, and that is a slow slotting attack from Mark III, but it does pay off.
Yeah, need to finish off that map. All right, there we go.
There we go. They
Still
got
not quite over. I don't know, with 2 CP you can never be too careful, especially when they lost that Diva mech. So they are going to cap this point. The Diva, or the Monkey, excuse me, is a little bit stagger spawned. It might be tough to group up for this Nano Blade fight here. But if they can engage with a Nano Blade, they can follow it up with EMP Rally and hopefully clean this up. Because Domination doesn't have too much. If you kill the Sig right away, he's not going to be able to flex.
Yeah, 5 seconds to get engaged here, and it's going to be tough with that Torbjorn turret putting some pressure on them. We see the nano or the visor put in by Relentless, but shut down. They see the Molten Cores and everything trying to stop Jonpon right now. Jonpon does manage to find 2, but it's not going to be enough to overcome the incredible amount of ultimate and defenses there from Domination. They knew the Nano Blade was coming, and they put all the stops into stopping it.
Yeah, he did shut down the tactical visor, but the Molten Core also an effective counter to Nano Blade, as well as the Sigma Flux if they had lived for that. They kind of had 3 different options that they laid out in different spots around the point to try to make sure that he couldn't, kill all 3 of them instantly, and then at least one of them would be able to shut them down. But honestly, Gap with that Molten Core did a lot more than just shutting down the Nano Blade, because it completely nullified Terractin's dive as well, and I think even took out one of the supports, it looked like, or at least brought them very, very low.
Right. It's going to be tough right now for Mark III to hold here. They got to get this one down. We saw Domination with a very strong offense here. They're coming out, it looks like, on the double bubble again. Domination is in a pretty controlling spot here on this point, but you can't rule out Mark III, especially we saw the performance. Jonpon came in with the unexpected Genji pick, and it kind of worked. It wasn't that bad. It was a pretty darn good pick.
Yeah, now they're doing the Torbjorn instead of the Tracer, which I do kind of like. I mean, Tracer is still pretty good even when you're not running dive, but you can use the turret to maybe cover the point while you're going for a hyper-aggressive push. And they switched to the Lucio, which should help them really get onto these supports if they choose to do so. Because it looks like that's what they want to do based off of where they're holding right now. They just need to be careful about how much poke they're taking.
And do need to be careful for sure. Mark III is still getting so aggressive though, nonetheless, but the aggression is paying off. I mean, aggression is kind of the name of the game when you're running the composition they are here, and it paid off in a big way. But Terractin is so low, and with the Potato Lord down, they only have the Lucio heals, and that's just not enough. And Terractin is slowly chunked down and finally deleted here by Relentless, and now Mark III is completely on the ropes.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do a close hold again. That's a fast primal from Vex as well.
A very fast primal rage from Vex. Vex is on that primal right now, and that's just going to be far too much chaos created. But McRice finds Vex. That's actually kind of big, but Gap manages to find the Potato Lord with that sticky, and that is going to be just enough. And Domination secures themselves at least a draw here so far on Volskaya.
Yeah, we saw a similar thing where Mark III was posturing up close. They wanted to go in early and aggressive on Domination, but they focused down the Monkey, who has his own bubble. He had a Zarya bubble, and he had Ana Pocket. And instead of Monkey dying, he just builds his Primal Rage in one fight, and they get the nano off of it as well. You need to just kind of ignore the Monkey, let him tickle you in the back with his gun, and kill the Ana.
Here we go again. Vex is stunned out by a Phenomenon here, but they did find Jonpon and now a Phenomenon as well. Domination taking down both the DPS for Mark III, but it's a big Earth Shatter there from Terractin. He gets it right before he goes down, but Bob is indeed doing something for Domination, pardon me, as Relentless's bomb finds 2 and Relentless finds another. We see Tomjo, the last remaining bastion of hope on the point, as a Phenomenon comes in and finds 2, however. Brought very low by Relentless and taken down. The fight is not over.
They do have a Molten Core, but if they have to use it, they don't have much for the remainder of the fight, or for the remainder of the match.
Molten Core, the last thing they have here, but they're struggling right now to finish this one off. But Molten Core does finish off Relentless, and that is going to be enough now to hold here. But like you said, at what cost?
Yeah, and I feel like at this point, when you've already switched to the Moira, And now this Tracer, maybe you could just switch to 6-man. It's still pretty brawly, and you can still kind of be aggressive and get up in their faces. It's just a little bit easier for a comp like 6-man, I think, to do that and live because of how much better they can disengage afterwards and not kind of be stuck, caught out in no man's land. But they're going to stick to this brawl. Let's see if they can build up a Coalescence. That might be their saving grace against this Nano Monkey.
Coalescence is really the only thing I could think of that they might have much of a shot at building here. But the Nano Monkey is in. Relentless is finish it off John Pon, but Gap is taken down as well. So it's certainly not over, but Domination has just too much point pressure, and the Primal Rage kept Taraktan off as Domination builds himself a 2-0 lead here after Volskaya. Domination right now in control of this 1-4 matchup.
Yeah, even though it went to extra rounds, it was a little bit convincing. It kind of felt like Domination was eventually just going to win once they built ults. You know, they lost a fight here or there, but you kind of knew that eventually they would get those crucial ults like the Nano Boost and would, you know, finish out this capture, which is what they do. I'd like to see Mark III maybe pick a map a little bit more to their composition style for this third map here. See if that can get them on the board for Hybrid, especially. Hybrid very lends itself to quite a few brawl compositions anyways, so.
Well, we do have ourselves Hybrid, and we do have a particular map in our Hybrid that all these teams love, especially. And I have a strong feeling, I haven't picked yet, but I'm already mentally prepping myself to head to Britain for a lovely trip down the streets of King's Row.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were going to Hanamura for map 2, and we weren't. So with Mark III, I feel like you never know. But hopefully, I think that is going to be their best option.
That is
we'll
true.
Have to see.
That is true, no doubt about that. Right now, they're deciding what to do, but Domination is just in control right now, and it's been a complete team victory so far. You know, the tank line between Vex and Classy Turtle has been fantastic. Relentless has looked really fantastic on pretty much every hero they've played. Gap's Tracer has been doing a lot of work for them, but I've been also really impressed by the support play of Foxart so far. They have hit a lot of very critical cooldowns on all their heroes they've played so far.
Yeah, and despite, you know, Tom Joe being I believe you said an all-star on that Diva, didn't play the Sigma for those defenses, played the Diva, and those anti-nades are still getting quite a lot of value into that. So very well played from Foxart for sure. They are going to go to King's Row, and we see a couple switches as well. Staymare back in for Vex, and Bunny is in for John Pon.
We do see a couple changes here. I'm happy to see Bunny back in. Bunny's Tracer looked very good on map 1 despite Mark III's struggles there. I was not necessarily expecting to see the tank change here, but we are here nonetheless, and that is where we are at. So, but we do head to King's Row as you would expect. And again, Domination sitting here firmly in control at a 2-0. Mark III gonna need to change it on a round. And when we go to King's Row, you have to think it's gonna come down to the tank play of Taraktan.
Yeah, I think tank is a very important part of King's Row. I'm really looking at if they pick Mei or not, because I actually think Mei is more important than Reinhardt is in this map in particular. Although, you know, MTD does make the Twitch chat kind of go crazy, so.
It's true, and I get to yell things about shatters, which is very fun. But as we said, here comes the Mei. It's the Mei Hanzo, which is a very trendy combination here for sure on King's Row, and you gotta like this hot pick for this map. It's very specialized for this map. And Domination right now, they look to be coming out potentially on the Reinhardt and the Sigma. So a bit of a different look.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to teleport a Bastion or if he's just playing around in spawn. Because Gap is currently scouting on high ground as well. I don't mind the Sigma, especially on attack. You can get some pretty good angles. You could pair that with a Hanzo of your own, and the other Hanzo is going to have a tough time peeking. So we'll see if that's what they choose to do. But running Mei-less is also... Okay, so they are going Mei.
They did make the switch over to the Mei, and we get more of your standard Kings Row action here. And the Reinhardts start the duel off. We see the wall stopping Teractin in his tracks, followed by the charge from Staymare. And a dominant showing immediately from Domination out the gate. It's exactly what you want of your Domination here. You come out strong, you take that first cap with less than 3 minutes, or with more than 3 minutes on the clock, and absolutely perfectly executed initial attack.
Yeah, they tried to take, again, the initiative there, tried to go a little bit into where you would normally consider Domination's kind of side of the choke, or side of the territory, but despite them going early and aggressive, Domination got the first wall off and just completely isolated Teractin and instantly took him down, and that's pretty much the fight in this meta.
That is the fight here, and we see walls invested as well as the immortality field from Foxard. Teractin and Tomjo do manage to hold up here on the archway and get some kills. The wall not finding anything from Bunny, but it's going to be enough to send Domination back to spawn here. And now we have a fantastic situation for Mark III as they're positioned to hold here at the archway, which is a very tough choke to break.
Yeah, it'll be especially tough when the enemy team has pretty much all of their ults. I mean, you do as well, or Domination does as well. But it's going to be tough to take initiative with ults here.
We see Domination going to the high ground, and Mark III deciding that they want to go for a tour of the streets. We see the Earth Shatter from Teractin only find Ami. Oh my goodness! Staymare on the 8th Phenomenon! 8th Phenomenon ready to send the dragon out, but Staymare says, no, thank you! Oh my god, Domination! That is one of the most incredible things I think I've ever seen in this broadcast.
Yeah, both Reinhardts showed some style, but neither Shatter getting any value as well. Both of them going for some funky, quick flank shatters, and neither of them really finding anything.
I come in expecting crazy fun, crazy shatters, but instead I see miracle pins from Staymare through the archway onto the ulting Hanzo. It's just exactly what you come to expect here on King's Row in Tranquility. I just can't believe what I just saw. Rapid eyes around it. Here we go, though. The amplification matrix nullified here by Gap's wall. Tomjo finds himself a blizzard. The nom goes Tomjo, and that's just too much. Oh, but here comes the sound barrier now from both Lucios as Domination isn't stopping. Despite Tomjo getting the big nullification of that ultimate, Domination just wins every single fight here, and again, pushing through with more than 3 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, once again, they just walled off Teractin and killed him, so even though Domination didn't really have many ults, they had the High Noon and the Sound Barrier, which they both invested, but, you know, the Blizzard was nullified, but it didn't matter, because they still ended up picking the Reinhardt off pretty much without it.
Alright, here we go now into the Forge of King's Row. Excuse me, pardon me.
Forge?
Into the,
is that what this is?
Foundry, pardon me. I think I mean, is it Forge, Foundry? You know what? It's a video game map, okay?
Well, there's like the whole... Never mind.
Hey, Phenomena finds the kill on the Gap and a huge Earth Shatter from Teractin. It's tough act in Teractin trying to get some mojo back from Mark III. And there it is as Teractin finally gets the big shatter we've been waiting for tonight and setting themselves up here. 3 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock, and it is technically a Foundry.
They're gonna flank again after winning their fight, and it just didn't work last time. They threw away their entire defender's advantage. Domination has pretty much scouted it out. They know Mark III likes to do this. They were looking for it the entire time. This flank has been pretty ineffective again, because now Domination just has complete control over the cart and the map.
And here's the amplification matrix is in, neither really to any effect whatsoever. So here comes the Diva Bombs as well, because why not? And here comes the Immortality Fields, because, you know, why not? If anything they can do equally as equal. But Domination is nothing but equal right now as they continue to roll through Mark III. McRice is the last person alive right now for Mark III, but here goes the cart, 3 people on, and they're pushing their way to that golden, well, the golden ring of victory, if you will, here. My God, Domination just cannot be stopped right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Those flanks from Mark III are just so weird. I feel like that's more on Mark III trying too hard to be wacky than Domination necessarily playing well. I mean, they expected it, they scouted it out, and they responded properly, and it worked. I'm just not really sure what these flanks are supposed to pull off against. We're at the point in the season where a lot of teams know each other's styles. It can be harder to pull out these, or to constantly pull out these kind of risky set plays.
Right now, Domination is just, they're completely in control. And Mark III, like you said, they're trying all these kind of interesting flanks and maneuvers and things like that. And
They're just reading them like a book
it's
every
just, yeah,
time.
every time it's just completely stopped. I would like to see Mark III just kind of fall back to base Overwatch a little bit. Just play what I don't think crazy rotations and flanks and tricky little cute plays are what got them to this point. We've seen consistency from them for the first time since stage 1 in these playoffs, and suddenly now it's a completely different team.
Yeah, I mean, that match with Mechanized was on the chaotic side, but I don't think they were doing quite as silly of flanks as they are doing now. But we were talking about earlier how they do like to play for these 1-for-1 trades, try to catch you with your pants down. Unfortunately, Domination's belt is just too tight. They're not going to get caught with their pants down at all.
They're not. And I mean, every time Mark III tries one of these rotations, Domination is just right. And look again, you see Teracting get caught off again by a fantastic wall from Gap, and McRice trying to get in there to save Teracting cannot. We see another wall put in here from Bunny, but it's just not enough to separate out much. But Staymare did go down. So it's now finally a little bit of life for Mark III as Domination does pull back here. They're going to let him have a couple ticks.
Yeah, I think they did handily win that fight when they took out Staymare. He is back now going for a retest.
Great wall to neutralize the amplification matrix again from Gap. We've seen them very successful with their wall placement so far, but Mark III is turning it around a little bit here. Tom, again, finding Staymare early, but Relentless and Gap are just... They've been clutching up so many fights, and they continue to do so.
Yeah, Relentless, when his team was contesting, flanked through the hotel and had a great off angle there, pretty much shooting the entirety of Mark III in the back, and it's really tough to turn around in that situation because of how many bodies are in front of you. This is really aggressive.
A Phenomenon gets boosted up by Gap's wall, and Gap pays the price for it. We see the trades again going out as both teams just kind of trading off each player. But it seems like as these trades come out, the clutch plays from Domination have been coming through. But here comes the Sound Barrier and the Earth Shatter, and Teractin picks up another Earth Shatter now. But it's not going to be enough. Is it going to be enough? Oh, no. It is going to be enough finally for Mark III to finally push through this point.
And Omni lost beat there.
Oh, they did. Oh, no.
That's a big deal. They're staggering out this poor Baptiste as well. Not even able to stall the cart because it hasn't left the garage yet. No, so he's kind of just... that's unfortunate.
You got to figure that it's big for Mark III. A huge momentum for the streets.
Yeah, going to be able to take some space. They've got their Baptiste on the cart. That's a bold choice. But the way they played that, like, that's what we were talking about. They played their chaotic style without getting cute. They didn't go for a flank, but they did just keep constantly pressuring Domination. No matter how many men they were down, they knew they had a slight spawn advantage, and they just kept attacking. That's what got them to win versus Mechanized, and that's what's been working right now on this attack.
Here we go again, Mark. Excuse me, Mark III. Whoa, with a big Earth Shatter from Teractin. Big Earth Shatter there. Staymare dives in again. The charges in there have been incredible. I feel like I've seen a Harmony tier main tank we know very well actually make similar very insane charges. But again, finally Mark III with some positive momentum. They go into the Foundry with almost 5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, I can hear his voice in my head going, "It's not staggering if I kill one." I'm not staggering myself if I trade.
Exactly. Good lord.
Alright, we'll see what Buddy can do with this Blizzard, or both Blizzards really. We'll see if either Diva can make a hero play or just which one gets timed a little bit better. I think that's going to be big factor in this upcoming fight.
Bunny was off on the flank trying to do something. They speed the Deadeye around the corner there from the Cassidy, but A Phenomenon not able to connect with anybody despite the zoning capability. Tom Joe with the self-destruct nullified here as they do manage to get back in the mech, but here comes the Blizzard from Gap. The Immortality field is down. The damage is starting to come out. Relentless uses the Deadeye as well, finds the Potato Lord, and Domination on the backs of Relentless. But here comes Mark 3 with Terractin finding a couple as well, and A Phenomenon right now. Both Cassidy players are coming up big for both teams here. Tom Joe finds Classy Turtle. The Diva's trading out now as well. We have some chaos here, but the Cassidy who reigns supreme is Relentless.
Yeah, unfortunately at this point, Domination does have the spawn advantage, but like that's what I'm talking about. Mark 3 isn't afraid to ult down players, and it isn't always working, but I mean this has been working better than the funky flanks they've been doing, you know. We'll see if they can kind of come in, maybe pressure out the Ryan Shield with this amplification matrix, and then go for a big Terractin shatter again.
Set it up once again. Amplification matrix is in, and oh no, Terractin dropped so quickly there while the amplification matrix was put in by Foxard. Both teams trading the windows there, and Domination making the best use of it. Relentless now sitting on this Deadeye here. Relentless has been truly fantastic all night, but the Cassidy play has been kind of reaching another level.
Yeah, both of them been doing very, very well. Set up by their
no.
maze very effectively as well.
Nick Rice caught out by that self-destruct, but Staymare gets dropped here. Perhaps a little too much aggression. We've seen some crazy aggression from Staymare so far, but Gap finds the pick, but Terractin with Earth Shatter immediately nullified by Omni with the sound barrier, and Gap pushing out the damage right now with that Storm Arrow. Here comes the Dragon. The Dragon Strike in from Gap, splitting off Mark 3 even further, sending them back to spawn with their tail between their legs.
Yeah, I don't think they mind going back to spawn just to kind of fully regroup there. They did well to pick off that Rhine and try to follow it up with the Shatter, but Omni with a saving beat there completely nullifies the follow-up, really.
Huge pick from Bunny onto Gap here. Neither team running the main now, both switching to the Hanzo Cassidy, as Bunny using that amplification matrix with that Storm Arrow. Here comes the Earth Shatter in from Staymare, not finding a whole lot, unfortunately, but A Phenomenon, Relentless with the Cassidy once again. That's 3 down for Relentless following the Deadeye. Relentless maybe getting a little too far out of the team there, but they do manage to find McBryce on the stagger. There's a minute 20 seconds left right now for Mark 3. They're staring 3-0 deficit in the face right now.
Yeah, that was just really tough from Relentless there. Was 1 HP for a very, very long time. A Phenomenon just unfortunately couldn't quite finish off the kill. And Gap on this high ground has just been throwing logs into the enemy heads. It's been tough for Mark 3 to push in with the Gap, with the angles that Gap has been holding.
60 seconds remaining.
All right, Mark 3 right now looking for any opportunity to get through. Tom Joe sitting on that self-destruct. Gap has another Dragon Strike here. So we'll see some ults traded out here as Tom Joe is ready to pop that self-destruct, and there it goes. The Dragon Strike is now in from Gap. Look at the damage onto Mark 3, but they managed to stabilize with the Potato Lord, getting about 30 to 40% of their ultimate in about 5 seconds there. And here comes another self-destruct from Classic Turtle, not connecting with anybody as Mark 3 continues to push through. They are finding the kills they need right now.
Yeah, Tom Joe's self-destruct killing the Baptiste really opened that up. Phenomenon's High Noon gets shut down there, but it's just not enough with the spawn. The spawns trickling through aren't able to contest the point.
And a great map there or a great attack there from Mark 3, setting themselves up again as we go to extra Overwatch. We just saw this. We just watched this happen.
Initiating match.
Here we go again.
Ironbank not so close this time.
Ironbank, no, I agree. Not so close this time right now. Here we go, though. It's gonna be tough for Mark 3. Again, you're staring 3-0 in the face to where you have to get 4 straight map wins. That's a tall task.
Yeah, it's been done. I mean, we did see it very recently, at least.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible for sure.
No.
What
We did.
did Train predict a reverse sweep here? I mean,
Yeah, what
he's been 100% so far. I don't remember what he predicted.
exactly. We need a
We
train
should
prediction.
have brought that up at the very beginning. That's like the most important part.
Is that the storyline of the day? I figured it'd be, the teams and not trains predictions.
I mean, it depends on who you ask, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it depends on your perspective, I guess. We have seen, if we look at Mark III's record this season, going down 4-0, I mean, that's a tough spot for any team. But, Mark III, looking at the record this season, 3-2 against Paradise Lost. We saw them 3-2, or sorry, the only team that looks like they 4-0'd so far this season was Alt F4.
Well, everybody did that.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Sorry, Thug. You hate to see it if you're a Thuggington fan, let me tell you. But I mean, it's been a tough. It's been not. We haven't seen them pull off much for 4-0s, and they're staring that possibility in the face right now. But it's not over until it's over. Like you said, we just saw it last night. Mark III now getting aggressive on a domination. We see Omni very low, but the Potato Lord uses the immortality field. With that taken down, now both teams now have invested their big cooldown. Almost a full tick for for Mark III, but they do not get that full tick. A Phenomenon putting some shots into the cafe, not connecting with any heads yet. But the Potato Lord did get the window, and here goes the window, and it's a fantastic one. And Staymare is caught out with that great wall from Bunny as well. The Potato Lord is in so deep, though, on that Baptiste. He went in so far and almost paid the price for it. Relentless finds a Phenomenon, and we see the trades coming out again. It's high noon, says Cassidy, but Cassidy says also, bleh, as Mark III finishes him off as well. Here comes the self-destruct in from Classy Turtle. Does not connect, but a huge Earth Shatter! Staymare trying to will Mark III will Domination back into this. Interactive finds Omni, and the kills are trading out right now. It does look like, is Mark III going to hold it? They are, but Domination almost clutches that.
Yeah, that was really close. The bomb shatter there. Oh, Foxer, where are you going? Okay.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I thought he DC'd or something. He was just about to walk in a straight line to the middle of him. Yeah. Really good bomb shatter. Not the typical kind of bomb shatter that you normally see, I guess, just having a ground bomb at a 90-degree angle to the shatter, but effective nonetheless.
It works. You can't argue with the result. Deadeye, oh my god, Gap. Gap just puts an end to the voice line before it finishes. Funny though, with the Blizzard, it is huge. Here comes the self-destruct from Tom Joe with 3, and that's gonna lock it up here for Domination. You gotta figure they'd be able to push through the rest of this fight, and they continue down the streets, and those OT respawn timers are brutal.
Yeah, that's why you don't really mind over ulting. They used 4 ults. Maybe you didn't quite need the window, but you definitely needed something after that high noon gets shut down for like the 5th time this map.
Build windows.
But you don't mind. Yeah, you do build windows so fast, and you don't mind over ulting just because of how slow the respawn timer is. And I mean, it's overtime. It's better to use ults and win than die with them.
It's true.
Staymare canceled out of a shatter there, I believe.
That's a big cancel. Yes, absolutely. Another Earth Shatter trying to come in from Teractin. Does not connect as he's taken down by the Deadeye. And we're trading right now. The Cassidy right now on top is a Phenomenon. But the Coalescence now from Foxard is doing all the work it looks like that Domination's going to need. And they will hold just before capping point B. But that is a very good push. If you're Mark III, you gotta be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, if Teractin was just a millisecond earlier with that shatter, that we would have seen a very different fight. It was crazy how close that one really came down to, for the fact that McCree was able to draw mid-shatter animation. Didn't cancel the shatter, but was able to prevent any follow-up from Teractin on his own shatter there. And then just, unfortunately, a Phenomenon not able to find that clutch flashbang to cancel the Moira Coalescence. And they were just able to kind of out-resource Mark III and clean up that fight there. I'm scared for Mark III's defense, the way that they've been positioning so far. The thing is that they don't need to be winning these fights. They need to be stalling for time, right? They're not really fighting to win. They're fighting against the clock at this point.
Right.
It's going to be tough to really, it's kind of unrealistic to hold for 4 minutes
They always
and win. But if you burn as much time as possible, then you can just build 6 ults and stop him in Street's face.
it's really common, unfortunately. You always forget, if you're on defense, you want slow, long fights that cause the offense to stagger and lose momentum. If you're offense, you want quick, decisive fights, but it seems like that mentality might not be the case. But here we go. It's Symmetra Bastion time, and Relentless. Relentless, you're supposed to be out. Relentless, Hefty. What happened?
I mean, as the Stim Bastion experts, you and I, something we've actually never done that on this map.
He should have just jumped up.
Yeah, he should have just jumped back up onto the top of the statue. They're still winning this fight.
My God, Gap is just in the lasers at full charge, and there's nobody stop. What is going on? Mark 3, you had this under control, and what? What?
They just over-resourced, I guess, going for the Bastion.
But the Bastion was like dead for like 20
Yeah,
seconds.
that was a little awkward. I'm not really sure what happened, to be quite honest.
I think they got too aggressive. Like you
Yeah.
talked about, slow, long fights are good on defense, but Mark 3 just decided to aggress for no reason, and they paid the price for it. That's brutal if you're Mark 3. It's so bad, it's so brutal, and they're staring a 3-0 deficit in the face here. But here we go again.
Damer has the Shatter with a flanking teleporter set up for him, ready to go. Let's see if he takes it, or he doesn't even have to. The mind games are already in play.
Oh, he's doing it though. Here it is. Oh, he's behind them though. If we don't, do you see the lift cancel his own teammates' Earth Shatter? That's actually kind of toxic.
Yeah, that's
Classy Turtle.
maybe they didn't talk about it, or maybe there was just some hidden resentment there. He was sick of Staymare getting all the play of the game, so he made sure to take that one away.
Tranquility TMZ is live tuning in right now. Staymare and Classy Turtle hate each other. More after the match in the beat drop. But
no beat drop tonight.
Yeah, no beat drop ever. But in all seriousness, Kings Row again. We're seeing some loopy action. A Phenomenon pops the Deadeye, and Cassidy falls. Classy Turtle finishes them off here. Get Teractin with the Earth Shatter, finding a couple as Teractin tries to stabilize Mark 3 out here. This is getting awfully close for Domination right now, but they are very low. But spinning up right now on that Symmetra. Here comes the Blizzard now from Bunny. They're going to connect with a few targets, but they're not finishing anybody off. And Staymare and Gap continue to punch their way through Domination. Through Mark 3.
Yeah, that's kind of the strength of this Symmetra. Like, just really wearing down the shield of Teractin there. The map is going to end. Domination is up 3-0.
Wow.
But yeah, Symmetra just forcing Teractin into a tough spot where he either holds shield and does nothing, or he goes for the hero shatter, doesn't hit it. And that's just one of the strengths that a Symmetra brings. Just that pressure from her beam is so overwhelming.
Indeed, I'm surprised. There was a lot of points there where it looked like Mark 3 was going to finally hold up and take advantage of the situations they gave themselves. But Domination walks away with the point, and they walk away now with a 3-0 lead. With this situation right now, we saw a very similar match last night where it seemed like one team was just firmly in control going into halftime. Then coming out of halftime, everything changed. The real question you have to ask yourself right now is, if you're Mark 3, what can you do?
Win.
I mean, I guess it's just win, Forehead. Like, I mean, you're not wrong. It's just I'm struggling.
Yeah.
It's a struggle situation right now for Mark 3, and they have not found success when they've needed it. And Domination, to their credit, Domination has been absolutely in control, and I think it's been a complete win. I mean, if you break it down by the intangibles, not by the intangibles, but if you break it down line by line and piece by piece here, you're looking at two teams that, the tank line right now, who's coming out on top? Classy Turtle with Staymare, Vex, or Teractin and Tomjo. It's Domination. Relentless is looking better than Relentless. The Gap are looking better than Nick Rice better than John Pon, and it's just it's just a win on every single line right now from Domination.
Yeah.
You know, if you're Mark III, you got to find a way to reset, guys. It's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be tough.
It's not only just the individual play, just the team play from Domination. They're playing as 6. They're not falling into Mark III's pace at all. They're cool. They're collected. And that's kind of where Mark III gets you. They're very good against, you know, like kind of teams that, you know, play with their hearts rather than their heads, I guess is one way to say it. And Domination is just playing with their heads. They're very, very calm, cool, collected. They haven't been caught out. Mark III might be able to, you know, get to the break, figure out how they want to change things. They could kind of completely change the way that they play. I know they do favor a lot of this brawl now that Terracton's on the team, but previous to that, they played a lot of ball. They played a lot of dive. They played a lot of Rissa that you could try to completely flip your style and see if that's what's going to catch them off guard, or you just keep. I just don't want to see them keep trying the things that aren't working.
Right.
You know,
They have to change it up here, no question about it. We got about 9 minutes here left in halftime. Just so you know, there is another Tranquility playoff match going on right now, and that is Chrysalis versus Sky Guardians in the Harmony tier. Both of them duking it out right now, looking for an opportunity to take on the Koala Kings in the next round. Chrysalis right now is sitting up 2-0 in that match, and we'll update that one as this night goes on here. But guys, we are into halftime right now. We'll see you in about 10 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Here, back from halftime. Domination living up to the name so far. They're up 3-0 against Mark III, who is now going to need to mark 4 in the win column if they're going to come back in this one, and they're going to have to do it 4 in a row. It was first to 4, and Mark III is now deep in that hole, trying to find a way to book themselves a date with Reminiscence in the next round, and you gotta figure it looks like that date might be filling up real quick here.
Yeah, Domination, the highest bidder, for that charity date night to take out the eligible bachelor Reminiscence. I hate this metaphor.
I
think we should
really
both
want to
stop.
We need to stop. We need to stop.
You're the one that keeps bringing it up.
You know what, Apathy? I don't. What?
All right, well,
Anyway.
moving on. We're going to Gibraltar, which, if they are trying something new, that gives me hope. But if we just see more of the same old brawl from Mark III, trying to take some wacky rotations, drop down from the high grounds here or something, I don't know if I like that. But if they come out in something new, something fresh, I like this map pick. So
I do too.
I'm looking to see what they do.
It's a very big change of pace here, but the thing is we've seen Gap on that Tracer be so good so far, and it's just I worry that this is putting Gap in their strength. Classy on that Diva has been outstanding. I feel like this is a situation where you're setting up Domination for success here, and nonetheless, here we are into Gibraltar, which, again, it's one of those maps that kind of plays different than a lot of other maps. You can really, the dive is so predominant here, but you can also play a little bit of double shield. You can mix it up here with some wrecking ball comps for sure. We see, if you look at Mark III, they bring the brawl.
Yeah, at least it's technically better on defense. Like, if they brought the brawl in attack, I would just be really disappointed. Like, on defense, I'm only 80% disappointed. They've also brought McRice over to the DPS from support. They've got Quebcake now on support and McRice in for DPS. Maybe that's going to be their saving grace, if he's just going to kind of DPS diff all of Domination. But I kind of felt like, Bunny has been their best DPS this season, so I'm not really sure about that choice either.
Here we go. Nonetheless, we are on Gibraltar. We see the brawl putting the brawl in Gibraltar is Mark III, and they actually find Vex fairly quickly. Vex is taken down, but the cart continues to progress here as Mark III chills on the high ground. We see the leap in from McRice first, recklessly into the back line onto the cart there. That was not the right move.
No, I mean, I guess at least he got the flashbang. This is I will remember you moment, but able to find that kill, and they burned Vex very quickly, so they're not too high on the nano, but now they're kind of awkwardly stuck. That's the problem with brawlers. You can't really contest high ground and the cart at the same time.
What a biotic grenade from Foxard. Again, Foxard with some huge biotic grenades so far. Mark III is able to just barely stabilize, but Tom Joe finds themselves sitting outside the mech, and that is going to be a brutal situation now for this brawl comp that really needs all the pieces operating at the same time in order to be successful. The double bubble is just pressuring them on this rotation so beautifully. The rotation just too long for Mark III, and you talked about this already. They're just putting in these long rotations, and Domination continues to capitalize on them.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily like how long they are, it's just that Domination has already set up so many different angles, right? So like no matter which way you rotate.
Quebcake decided to go ahead and invest in sound barrier to try to aggress with that shield, but then it was immediately negated by the Graviton from Classy Turtle. But now here we go again. It's kind of this weird stagger fight, but Domination is not quite finishing the job yet. But here they go with Vex in on the Primal Rage, finds the Potato Lord, losing the Baptiste here early, and then they also lose their Cassidy as well. Vex doing fantastic so far. Here comes the self-destruct, and it does find Vex. Concho did a great job there and was finally able to stabilize, but it's not over yet.
No, Tom Joe nanoed and very high energy, just pumping out so much damage here, looking to clutch up this fight.
Relentless was trying to find a way to use that, using that tactical visor to get some sort of value there, but they struggle to do so. Well negated there by Mark III, and Terractin finds Omni. Losing Brigida's heals is going to slow them down for sure, and they lose Vex as well. We do see a double kill from Gap, demeching and killing the Cassidy. And Gap finds another. Gap right now is putting the Tracer Gap into this game. Relentless on the Soldier 76 with the Helix rockets, finds John Pon as Classy Turtle, sits at 100% energy, and Rosaria at 100% energy is an absolute menace.
I feel like the thing here is that Mark III is struggling to figure out whether they want to play this aggressively or kind of slowly. They're doing well in these fights where they're just playing very, very slowly, waiting out resources and just living through everything. And then after they do that, they get super aggressive, overextend, and get punished for it.
Funny, because when they play super aggressive off the bat, they're also winning. It's like it's like they're caught in this identity crisis as a team right now in this match.
They're ebbing and flowing like too much. They're overdoing.
Well, you don't need to worry about your ebbs or your flows when you get an Earth Shatter like that from Terractin. I'm just saying. The Deadeye in from McRice on the Cassidy was perhaps unnecessary, but also perhaps really cool. And Mark III is able to stabilize here on a very tough to push through .2 in Gibraltar.
Yeah, I'd like to see them go up on top of the shuttle, especially with that McCree. Not going to do so. They're going to maybe try to hold close and drop down on them. That's why they've chosen not to take the shuttle here. It looks like that's what they're going for.
All right, here we go. There's 3 kills already off the bat for Mark III. Mark III, that was a good fight. That was a quick fight, a decisive fight, and that's kind of what we just talked about.
Yeah, that's been one of the times that getting super aggressive has worked, and they stuck to their guns that time, you know. After a pick, they didn't really give up. Or not give up, but like didn't fall back.
So much about Brawl isn't ebbs and flows. So much about Brawl is just doing the thing and doing it all at once. And they did, and it paid off there. Sound barrier in now from Queb Cake. That is tough. But Terractin finds 2 along with John Pon as well, and John Pon putting those shotguns to use onto Vex, who pops the Primal Rage, but it's going to be ending up wasted. It's going to end up being wasted, pardon me. And Gap in the backline as well is dropped. We got 1:15 seconds, and this has been a great defense. Really, the best map we've seen so far from Domination, or from Mark III.
Yeah, second point is a bit easier for them to drop from these very close high grounds. There's a pretty small choke to get through, unlike first point where the attacker is given so much space to initially work through. So it's working a bit better, and we do see Domination forced to switch to a bit of a mirror, keeping the Zarya and the Soldier because they have ult. I'd like to see a sneaky grab, hold him up there. It would be funny, it wouldn't be good, but that's a bold high noon.
Really bold high noon, really aggressive high noon. And Tom Joe eats another ultimate, which is a big ultimate as well. Losing their Graviton is going to really be impactful for on Classy Turtle, but I guess it's not, all things considered, because it's a team kill for Domination as they push their way around the shuttle here. And now, as dominant as it's been for Mark III, Domination now is firmly in control with ultimates to spare.
Yeah, now that they switched to mirror that Rhine, it looked like they were a little bit scared to drop super aggressively. The McCree went ahead and took that initiative, but that's not who you want to see doing
There's the rally in, but the the self-destruct from Tom Joe split apart Domination, and the Potato Lord on the high ground picks off the opposing Baptiste, and that just does all that they need. And Mark III, with really the biggest sign of life we've seen from them so far this match, they've set themselves up to potentially take Gibraltar.
Yeah, they're playing well the way that they're just dropping aggressively, like we said. It's been working for them so far. The issue is now you're not going to be able to do that on attack. And it's going to be tough to get the Brawl rotated through all of these long sight lines when you're running into, you know, poke or dives, depending on what Domination wants to play for their defense. So although they kind of made me eat my words with the Brawl on defense, I'm gonna double down. I don't think it's the move on attack. So I'd like to see a dive come out.
But you're gonna get Brawl, but with a Genji. So Something different.
Interesting.
I'm curious to see what Relentless is sitting on the Symmetra. Are we going to see Relentless stay on the Symmetra? That's the question I have right now.
She might just be TPing her onto a high ground easily.
That could be.
Don't know. No, it looks like they're gonna stay here.
This is intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, Symmetra can try to car wash that lower tunnel and
that's
solo
exactly
hold,
what
but
they're
usually
gonna-
you'd want to anchor that with like an Orisa.
But does that work really well when you're running up against a brawl? Not particularly. But here we
No.
go. Nonetheless, the Symmetra is in play. The Telly up to the high ground immediately from... This is the kind of thing you need to see from Mark III on this comp. You need to see them push out quickly. And that's exactly what we do. They immediately take high ground control away from Domination. And that's how Mark III can get back in this. We see the jump in now from Vex. Vex dipped to about half health and has to drop back as well as John Pond puts those shotguns to work, but not finding much so far as the dive back in from Vex is already 50% to that primal rage. Foxhard already over 60% to that nano boost as well as Tomjo just slightly slower for a ride.
Yeah, he's gonna run into the car wash. So he's not at full health anymore, at least. Not it's quite so pretty.
Not necessarily, no, but right now Mark III is in a good spot with high ground control, but Vex takes that away with this primal rage, and it's really just to secure positioning here going into this point here under the bridge, and that's going to make this a lot harder now for Domination. I'm sorry, for Mark III, and they actually do fully rotate out of high ground position now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I like the way that they took that so aggressively with that space. Vex going in deep here now with the nano boost.
It's the nano monkey in, but he's very low, not quite dropped, but that's just too much there for Domination. But the turnaround now for Mark III as Terractin with a big Earth Shatter finds a couple, and there goes the big damage from the Symmetra now as well. This is a good spot right now for Mark III, and they continue to push on the back of Terractin.
Yeah, and they're forcing Domination to mirror again to this Reinhardt.
Sound barrier,
Are they going for a recontest? They are.
This is a bold recontest here. The teleporter looks like he was in use there, and it's going to catch Mark III a little bit by surprise as Terractin and John Pond taken down here by the remake and the charge. And right now, if you're Domination, you're feeling pretty darn good about this recontest he just pulled off, and it looks like it worked.
Wow.
That was impressive.
I've not seen that before, I've got to say.
That was
teleporting to that lower door and speeding through. Wow.
Fantastic team play. Like, truly fantastic team play.
And they get the team back.
Wow.
Oh, no.
And now,
That is not good.
suddenly, the situation that we all thought was favoring Mark III has just completely turned on its head. And look, they got a rally. They're so close to another Deadeye 2. Domination is in a really good spot to potentially full hold here and lock up this dub.
Yeah. They're going to take the high ground here. They haven't used their Symmetra teleport. They might be able to teleport onto this enemy Ana. Because, again, if you can pick off the Ana and the Brig, it can be pretty easy to wear down the fight afterwards.
Look at this. Tomjo is immediately getting hit with that biotic grenade, but Terractin finds Omni, who was popping that rally, and that's going to be a lot of pain right there. Earth Shatter is in. Here comes the High Noon from Gap, looking for any kill they can get. They find John Pond and Terractin. Gap now on the Cassidy. We've seen them do fantastic things all day on different heroes, but now we see him back in spawn as Potato Lord finishes them off. Mark III so close to locking down point A and keeping themselves alive, but Relentless with that Symmetra wall and the burn, the full damage beam from Relentless is indeed relentless. And this is a trade. We're seeing constant trades here. I don't know who's going to come out on top.
It's really tough to tell. McRice with the later Symmetra wall, that might give them the edge here. Yeah, it looks like it is. So they needed that Symmetra wall to get that recontest, but unfortunately weren't just able to clean up quite fast enough. McRice came back with his own wall. And this is really interesting. I don't think I personally have never seen two Symmetra brawl teams going at it on Gibraltar. I don't know if this is a treat or a punishment, but it's certainly new.
It is certainly, yes, one of those things.
I wonder if Relentless started this out because he expected the Symmetra brawl. We've been talking about how they've been reading them like a book this whole time. Maybe they scouted this, and that's why they started Symmetra.
It could be good scouting here. But again, oh my god, what an Earth Shatter from Vex. Answering the tough-acted Terractin himself with a fantastic Earth Shatter. And it's just Domination again. They're got a minute 45 seconds. They're a minute 45 seconds away from booking that trip to the semifinals here. And for Mark III, though, Mark III, if you're sitting in their shoes, you're looking at those check marks under your heroes right now. You got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, and we're basically in maybe one fight with a little stall cleanup. But hopefully one fight territory, and it doesn't look like Domination is going to take that early aggression that Mark III has been doing. Might see a fight on top of Shuttle here.
Which is exactly what you'd expect in a brawl v brawl situation. You would expect a fight right on top of the Shuttle. This is something I've never seen before, everybody. But here we go, the Tranquility community setting new standards for Brawl on Gibraltar. But the trades continue, and Mark III, are they going to clutch up here and take this one? Because these fights have normally been going to Domination tonight, but John Pond is putting in some serious work right now on that Reaper. But as I say that, you've got to kill the Symmetra. They can't find them. They do, finally. Here comes the rematch on Tomjo. Classy Turtle with some cheeky rematch kills. And here comes Gap now. The kills are just trading back and forth. Apathy. What is going on?
I don't know, but they're still gonna fight this. That's what we were talking about. Mark III doesn't care how many people they're down. They're still gonna fight. They wait for Terractin. I think they're gonna wait out the Symmetra barrier now, but they've got a good regroup, and they're gonna push in once again. See if they can get anything with this amplification matrix, maybe. Yeah.
The difference is huge.
Especially the support ults.
The Mark III has to win this fight right now. This is the end right here. 10 seconds left. 10 seconds separating Domination from map 4. 4-0 victory in the playoffs. Here goes Vex in now, but the Earth Shatter from Vex finds Terractin and Tomjo. But here comes John Pond with the Death Blossom, bidding to win, giving Mark III a little bit of life here in this match. Relentless is taken down, and Mark III extends this match to a map 5. Mark III finally, with signs of life, 3-1 now Domination. We go to map 5.
Now, finally, I feel like we're seeing the real Mark III. I mean, we were talking about how they like to take these chaotic fights with one-for-one trades all over the place, clutching up those 3v4 fights. That's what we talked about at the beginning, and we weren't quite seeing it, and now we are seeing Mark III in beautiful or horrendous, whatever your opinion may be. We're seeing them in their final form, I suppose you could say, and it's working. Now the issue is you have to do this off the back of Domination's map picks from here on out. To complete the reverse sweep, you do have to play on Domination's territory, so to speak.
It's true. And I mean, it's funny because I had the stream up on my other monitor, and I happened to catch just now was the Shuttle brawl, and I still can't get that image out of my head. Great observing, by the way, Booth. Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic as always, giving us a wonderful overhead shot of the absolute insanity that these teams are bringing to the table today. My voice is actually starting to go here, so Domination. I normally don't play favorites right now, but my throat is saying go Domination. Nonetheless, Mark III, they finally got a point, and suddenly now, if you're Domination, we just saw this last night. We just saw this happen to Decapitators last night. If you're Domination, are you thinking, oh god, what have we done? Are we stepping into the snake fest here? What is going on?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Although on the other hand, you could say it is all according to plan. Of course, I did get the official train prediction. It was 4-2 Domination. So, this map could still be going according to plan, and they could give them one more and not be worried about it because, as the prophet dictates. But yeah, I would definitely be sweating a little. Mark III definitely, looks like they're warmed up. They're up to form, and that's something to worry about. I don't know if it's the McRice DPS, or I don't know if it really just took them 50 minutes to get going, but they're here now.
It's a warm-up diff. That's what it is. Yeah. It's just a warm-up diff. We go to Busan. Busan is a fun, okay, a lot of people have feelings about Busan. I think all those feelings are silly because I like Busan. I like
I
it a
do
lot.
like Busan.
I think and it's also a really pretty map, but that's another story. But that being said, this map, I think, you got to figure command center. I think that plays more into, sorry, mecha base, pardon me, plays more into the favor of Mark III. Based on what we've seen so far, I would say downtown probably plays more into the favor of domination. We started downtown here as well, so that
Yes.
could mix things up a little bit as we start there as well. And then to me, I think this one might all come down to Sanctuary.
Yeah, I could see that. We have seen Mark III did clutch up. I believe this was their map 5 versus Mechanized, was it not? So they were able to, backs against the wall, take this map, and we do see Domination falling into this trap that so many teams that play Mark III fall into. They're mirroring the brawl.
They're doing it again. Here we go. It's a bold strategy. We'll see how it works out. McRice on that Sombra. He's scouted out right away. Gap finds Quebcake, and losing Quebcake early here with that Moira, that is going to be a lot of healing lost. Gap is doing a really good job on this Hanzo so far. We've seen them click a lot of heads.
Yeah. He's doing pretty good. It is interesting that, like, 6-man with Reinhardt composition that we're seeing. I feel like they were expecting maybe a standard 6-man comp from Domination, and they tried to run this sort of Reinhardt variation to counter it, but instead, Domination just has the range advantage with this McCree Hanzo and able to win that fight quickly. Now Mark III is ready for it, so we'll see what they can do.
McRice working on farming up that EMP. Put a lot of work into Staymare on that one as well, and that is going to set up Mark III now for the retake. John Pon is dropped by Classy Turtle. Tomjo is very low as well. They need to stabilize right now. They are not stabilizing though, and they're paying the price. And they finally do get the retake, but Teractin is being kept up by Quebcake here. And now with that coalescence up, the point control sits firmly in the hands of Mark III.
Yeah, I mean, Teractin, why stabilize when you can charge in, I guess, is the point. But Quebcake again by Gap and Relentless.
True.
That's not great, because he didn't heal everybody back up to full health. He was low on resources, was doing it slowly, and now they're at this fight with half health and no healer.
Half health, no healer, and that's just a drop to Teractin, then you pay the price. We see the Potato Lord taken down as well. It's the point is so close to ticking over, and it finally does. Mark III's got to get a quick reset here. They're sitting at 43% and counting. You brought up a good question, a good point earlier. This is the match. Is this the map we saw them take against Mark III in map 5? I'm sorry, against Mechanized in map 5, and it was. They won Busan 2-1. So. Yes. This is the one that they've clutched on before. So this is a map that Mark III has experience in the playoffs, and that they've won against pretty decent competition. EMP in now from McRice, killed immediately by Relentless. They find 4, but one of those was not Omni, who negates the entirety of that. John Pon completely negated by Gap. The Storm Arrow finds the head of John Pon, and it's Domination right now, setting up 65%. We're looking at probably one fight territory now, or definitely one fight territory now for Mark III.
Yeah, they played that fight very well. Expected the EMP. They grouped 4 of them together and then split the McCree and the Lucio off in different sides. So Lucio was able to easily come in and beat, and the McCree was there to try to flash out the EMP. Didn't quite get it, but killed. Who was it? McRice, pretty quickly after he popped that ultimate there, so weren't really able to follow up with Quebcake's coalescence.
Down barrier in now for Mark III to try to push this forward, but Relentless with the Deadeye finds 3, and that ends the trip to downtown for us here today with a victory for Domination, and they set themselves up 1 point now away from that victory.
Yeah, we'll have to see which one is coming next, because I do think that was going to be Mark III's hardest map. Domination might still be favored, but at least this is where Mark III can get sloppy, which is a good thing for them somehow. Gonna get real sloppy on Mecha Base, I think.
They like the grindy fights. They like the sloppy fights. The thing is Mark III. I mean, we kind of. I don't know if we've necessarily been ripping on them, but we were ripping on their style a lot. But a lot of their style relies on their fantastic DPS players. You know, John Pond, McRice, Bunny all bring a lot to the table for this team. What's made this match so different to me is the fact that Relentless and Gap have been winning those 1v1s almost all throughout the night.
Mm-hmm. And the other big thing is not even winning those 1v1s, but also picking off arguably the second most important, which has been Quebcake or McRice when he was on that flex support / primary healer. Those have been the really big crucial picks that I think have been winning these maps.
We are playing Ring Around the Rosie right now. Who rotates the best? And the answer right now is probably whoever invented the sleep number bed, because this dance is getting pretty slow right now. But we see finally point presence now from Domination as they look for that first cap, and here we go. Finally some action on the point now from these teams. We see the May wall in now from John Pond, but the Domination is in control here. They get the DMAC as well, and we do see a couple kills now for Domination for Mark III trying to stabilize out, but they cannot. And Domination takes first point.
Yeah. Those rotations do typically favor the team with the Hanzo, you know, pumping out more consistent damage from that long range. The May is a sniper, not quite as much damage, and not really able to get her full value without the things like walls, because you're so spread out from your opponents. It's gonna be tough to push in now. Mecha Base can be awful punishing, sort of like Lijiang Tower. These chokes are very, very small. Hanzo not as effective into them, at least.
That's true, and here we go. The amplification matrices from both parties have been thrown in, neither really leading to anything. Quebcake did have to use the immortality field, however, so right now Mark III is working a bit from behind. As I say that, McRice finds Relentless. Those are the things they have to get done, and McRice finds 2 with that Deadeye. The Cassidy being played very well. That's 5 now for McRice. Looking for a 6. Are we getting... Oh,
Terractin. Come on. He's McRice is in shock too. Got a stance there for a second.
Can we get some D colons in the chat there by Terractin swiping the 6K away from McRice.
Go back to retirement.
And McRice is so ashamed he doesn't even see the headshot. Doesn't even see it coming in. And here we go now, though. Domination pushes onto the point quickly. Blizzard invested. Earthshatter now as well. Neither really connecting with much. Deadeye now from Relentless, not finding anything, negated completely by Tom Joe, and Terractin finds a couple with that Earthshatter, and that is big for Mark III. They stabilize here on this point, and they are going to continue to hold 40% count.
It is pretty crazy the way that Mark III managed to miss a blizzard and pin into 6 people and then win the fight. You know, I mean, it's just this sloppiness is where they thrive. It's been working for them. You know, they need to stop getting picked in these pre-fights, and they'd be doing so much better. It's working despite that, but like that's been their only losing factor so far.
And here we go now. Classy Turtle does use the self-destruct, but does not find anything but an immortality field. We see now Foxard using... Or we see, oh, I think I'm lagging right now, actually. Yep, I'm lagging pretty severely. If you're not lagging, take over.
Alright, well, Tomojo sits on Omni here. Gap with a dragon is able to catch out the Potato Lord, but Mark III once again cleaning up this fight. And they're going to stagger Stamer as well. This is looking good for Mark III. They used both teams used almost every single ult. They've got only the High Noon, which was clutch, versus close to a High Noon and the window here for Foxard. I think they are going to be able to get a touch. It's going to be tough. This is going to be a scrappy fight here. We see Foxard up on high ground with the amplification matrix, pumping in damage. Not able to catch the Rhine shield, though, that is guarding McRice's High Noon. But he doesn't really find anything either. This is going to be close to see maybe which McCree can find each other on the high ground. John Pond freezing up Foxard. That could be really important here if they kill this Baptiste. And he has the Blizzard as well. Domination currently ahead in the kills, but a big Blizzard here from John Pond. Is he going to be able to find anything? Gap comes back on the Tracer, trying to clean this fight up. Stamer with a big shatter knocking everybody to the ground. They might be, it looks like they're going to be able to flip this point, but it's still not over. Only 60% to now Mark III in one fight territory, and they had to move Gap over to this Tracer, which is a little bit awkward.
I think I'm finally stabilizing here. So sorry for that. Thank you, Apathy, rolling out the play-by-play fantastically. Man, well done. Well done.
Thank you. That was interesting.
Stressful. You did good. You did good. Here comes the self-destruct in. It's in deep from Classy Turtle, not connecting with anybody, but Gap capitalizes on that, finds Quebcake. 85% now for Domination, and they are firmly in control here. 90% now and counting. Mark III, you need to go to the point. Where
Yeah,
are you going?
they need to get out. They need to get out and not die here. Oh no!
You're
Can
not
they
even
make
gonna
it?
be able to make it. Can anybody make it? They do.
Oh my
just
God.
Barely. And Mark III in with the sound barrier now, but we see McRice taken down by Relentless. Self-destruct in, finds an immortality field. Mark III is completely on the ropes now. John Pond on the Tracer, and Tom Joe getting a couple kills in, including a Baptiste. That's a huge kill for Domination with the sound barrier and the Earth Shatter from Stay There. And it's going to be Domination, it looks like, with the staggers coming in. And that is it. Domination, they have booked themselves a trip to the semifinals to take on Reminiscence, winning this match 4-1 over Mark III.
Yeah, unfortunately, they weren't able to clutch out the sloppy fight. You know, it's been the fact that they've done it so many matches in a row. It just can't be consistent to win these 3v3s over and over and over. Unfortunately, that luck or the what's the word I'm looking for? Midnight finally chimes. You know, the Cinderella transformation has ended, and Domination is moving on to the semifinals.
Domination has booked that trip over to the semis right now, and it looks like they're you gotta feel good if you're Domination. They got a tough match coming up here, but we've seen Domination rise to the occasion against very tough competition. And here we are again.
Beating Echo Fleet, who some considered, you know, was the most likely or most even with Reminiscence throughout the mid-season, and Domination has taken them out. So
I gotta ask you right now, Apathy, who stood out to you from Domination? I mean, Domination, a complete team win today, in my opinion, but was there any one player that stood out more than any others?
I would probably give it to Gap, at least for the first 3 maps. The last 2, maybe Staymare, but I think Gap pretty consistently throughout the whole match was making a lot of hero plays. Really good picks on that Hanzo in particular, just constantly finding, you know, whether it was Quebcake or McRice on both positions, you know, constantly getting picked by those Hanzo arrows. Gap did a really good job tonight.
I agree. I think Gap stood out to me. I was really impressed also by Foxhard tonight. Really, the Ana was clutch in a lot of fights and really did a great job of countering out Tarakton and that very aggressive brawl from Mark III really all night tonight. So, but fantastic job from Domination and a great season for Mark III. Their first season into Tranquility, really this undefeated stage 1, huge wins throughout. Definitely earned a ton of points, a ton of respect from the community. So congratulations to Mark III for an outstanding season so far. And you're definitely going to walk away with at least one All-Star this season as well. So well-deserved as well. So thanks so much for tuning in, everybody, tonight. Just so you guys know, Chrysalis and Sky Guardians are still ongoing. It looks like they're dealing with some technical issues, though. So we're not going to be covering that match just because we don't want to dive into a technical issue fun pause time for maybe 20 minutes plus. That wouldn't be very fun. But we're looking at 3-0 right now for Chrysalis, trying to get to the semifinals to take on Koala Kings. So if you're interested in that, I know there's a few of them streaming, and you can type !Discord in the chat, get to our Discord. I know there's going to be some links posted in Harmony discussion there. But thank you very much, Apathy. Thank you very much to Booth as well for the fantastic observation, as always. And to everybody for tuning in, we appreciate you. I'm Mr. Yeti, and we will see you guys again very soon. And we're back because we forgot a
Right.
very important announcement. As a reminder, on next week, we do not have any matches because of Thanksgiving, or American Thanksgiving, I should say. So on Monday, instead of the Iris podcast, we have Tranquility Community Squid Games on this channel. Be sure to tune in. That's the only reason I came back. Squid Games is important. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tune in. We're going to have a good time. Apathy will be there.
Will I?